Hello students, welcome to our afternoon read aloud. This afternoon I'm going to read to you about Johnny Appleseed, and I want to point out two things. I want you to remember how in our message it asked how was he a good citizen, so I want you to be on the lookout for answering that question, and I want to explain to you, this is the book I'll be reading, and again it's about his life, and a book about someone's life is called a biography. Biography. That's from the ancient Greek language. Bio is a word part that means life, and graphy means writing. So it's like life writing, a book about someone's life. So here we go. This is The Story of Johnny Appleseed by Aliki. And on the front I see Johnny Appleseed, I think it must be. He's got like a pouch over his shoulder, and it looks like a little bird is right there next to him just tweeting at him, and nothing on the back. This is a little bit of an older book, but it's a great story. And here's the title page, The Story of Johnny Appleseed. And there he is on the title page, bent over, planting a seed. Written and illustrated by Aliki. Okay. Okay, and there I see a tall, slim guy walking through the forest, and he's looking up at the birds and smiling. I think that must be Johnny Appleseed enjoying nature. Let's see. Many years ago, when America was a new country, there lived a brave and gentle man named John Chapman. John loved the out-of-doors. He would walk for miles in the woods among the trees and the flowers, happy and alone with his thoughts. One day, after a long walk, John sat under a tree to rest. He felt the warm sun on his back and the fresh grass tickling his toes. John took an apple from his sack and ate it, and when he had finished, he looked in his hand at what was left, just a few brown seeds. And John thought, if one gathered seeds and planted them, our land would soon be filled with apple trees. So there he is looking at the seeds and thinking. Oh, wow. Now this is an illustration, a picture kind of showing a landscape, a big area of land. John Chapman lived on the frontier in Massachusetts. Oh, I got to stop. Frontier. What does that mean? The frontier, you could think of the word front. So frontier means you're at the front or the edge of settlement. The front or edge of where people, where settlers are going into new land that's probably forests that has never had farms before. Now there may be people in those forests. There may already be Native Americans, but for the settlers, it's new. So that's the frontier. John Chapman lived on the frontier in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a state where the country had been settled. But every day, pioneers were leaving to travel west, where there were no homes or villages and where the only roads were Indian trails. And pioneers are like the first people who go out where there aren't farms and towns. In their covered wagons, the pioneers made the long and dangerous journey through the wilderness. They wanted to build new lives for themselves in a new part of the country. John Chapman went too, but he did not travel in a covered wagon. He walked in his bare feet. He carried no weapons, as most men did in those days, to protect themselves from wild animals and danger. He carried only a large sack on his back filled with apple seeds and his cooking pan on his head. So he didn't carry any weapons, and he wore his cooking pot on his head. We've heard that before, haven't we? As he walked, John planted seeds. He gave a small bagful to everyone he saw. Soon, everyone who knew him called him Johnny Appleseed. Sometimes Johnny stopped for many weeks, helping the pioneers. They cleared the land. They built homes. They planted rows and rows of apple trees. When they were finished, Johnny walked on to help others, but he always came back to see his friends. So here he is giving out seeds, and here he is helping settlers. They did have to cut down the trees to clear the land to plant apple trees, so got to keep that in mind. Everyone loved Johnny Appleseed, especially the children. When Johnny rested from his planting, the children sat around him, listening to all his adventures. I think he was a good storyteller, too. Johnny Appleseed walked alone. He slept out of doors, in the woods or by the river. He met wolves and foxes, birds and deer. They were all his friends. Oh, what a lovely illustration. There's a detail here of a fox that has come up and put his paws up on Johnny's thigh. One day, as Johnny was eating lunch, he heard a noise, and 3 little bear cubs ran from behind a tree. When the mother bear came and saw them playing together, she sat and watched. She knew Johnny Appleseed would not harm her young. And there he is playing with the little bears, with the bear cubs, right? Baby bears are called bear cubs. Johnny met many Indians on the way. He was kind to them and gave them seeds and herbs, which they used as medicine. Although the Indians were not friendly to any white man who chased them from their homes, Johnny was their friend. Yes, so that mentions something we're going to learn more about. You know, the settlers were taking over the land from the Native Americans, and that became a problem. Here's Johnny, though, being friends with everyone. Johnny did not like people to fight. He tried to make peace between the settlers and the Indians, for he believed that all men should live together as brothers and sisters. On and on Johnny walked, planting as he went. When he needed more seeds, he collected sackfuls from the cider mills. Everyone saved his apple seeds for Johnny. Many years passed. Johnny Appleseed walked on. He visited his friends and saw with pleasure the many apple trees which covered the land. And he was happy. Look at all those apple trees. And up here you can see the little detail of Johnny Appleseed arriving. And look, all the children are running to him because children especially loved him. He played with them and told them stories. But then one year, it looks really cold. I'm a little worried. One year there was a long, cold winter. When spring should have come, snow was still on the ground, and frost was on the trees. Johnny could not sleep or eat. He was afraid his trees would die. As he was walking among the trees one day, Johnny Appleseed fell to the ground. He was very ill. After some hours, an Indian mother and her son passed and saw Johnny lying in the cold. Quickly, the boy ran for help. Johnny was carried to their village, not far away. For many days, he lay ill with fever. The Indians gave him medicine and nursed him. Oh my goodness, look at all their faces. They look worried about poor Johnny, sick in bed. But they're taking good care of him. And one day, Johnny Appleseed opened his eyes. He smiled at his Indian friends. He knew they had saved his life. He saw that the sun was warm and the frost had left the trees. Spring had come at last, and Johnny was well again. But he never forgot his friends and went to see them often. Johnny Appleseed, the gentle pioneer, lived for many years, planting appleseed trees wherever he went. We can still see them today. They are large and old and heavy with apples. They are the gift Johnny Appleseed gave to his country and to you and me. So am I just going to set that aside and walk away? No, because I have to do something at the end of a book, right? So what I wanted to do was go back. I noticed there was an interesting pattern in the illustrations. Did you notice how it would be like black and white and then color, then black and white and then color, then black and white and then color, and so on. So I thought that was an interesting detail. And also I liked how it really shows his feelings and his interactions with the Native Americans, how he was friends with them. He gave things that were useful to them, and they also were friends with him at a time when, as we saw on this page, settlers and Indians didn't always get along. But Johnny was hopeful that they could live in peace. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our second biography about Johnny Appleseed. And I hope when we talk next, you can tell me how he was a good citizen. So don't forget, wash your hands, cover your coughs and sneezes, do some reading, do some writing, help your family around the house. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.